fearful king declared death, innocent child Jesus became his target. But God had another plan. The throne would fail, and God's promise would endure forever. Every life begins with a cry, but on this night, that cry would reach far beyond this humble home. While Bethlehem slept in peace, beyond these quiet streets, a king had begun to fear a child he had never seen. He ruled with absolute power, yet the birth of one child threatened everything he possessed. But while fear ruled a palace, heaven was already preparing a way. Then, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
Rise, take the child and his mother, escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him.
But why was the most powerful king in Judea determined to kill a newborn child? The answer began months earlier, when mysterious travelers from the east arrived in Jerusalem, following an extraordinary star. They were known as Magi, learned scholars and royal advisors who studied the heavens in search of signs and kings.
Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him.
To most, those words sounded like a question. To King Herod, they sounded like a threat. Disturbed by their report, Herod summoned the chief priests and teachers of the law, asking where the Messiah was to be born. Their answer came from the prophet Micah, Bethlehem in Judea, the promised birthplace of Israel's future ruler.
Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him.
But Herod had no intention of worshiping the child. His plan was far darker. Herod waited, but the Magi never returned. Warned by God, they had departed by another way. Realizing he had been deceived, Herod flew into a rage. Without hesitation, he dispatched his soldiers to Bethlehem, ordering that every male child 2 years old and under be put to death. But before Herod's soldiers could reach Bethlehem, God had already intervened. Awakened by the angel's warning, Joseph knew there was no time to lose. He quietly gathered their few belongings, careful not to wake the sleeping village. Mary wrapped the child Jesus in her arms as Joseph prepared the donkey for the long and dangerous journey ahead. Before the first light of dawn, they slipped silently into the darkness, trusting God to guide every step. Here, Herod's soldiers had raided the village, searching every house for the child. No home was overlooked. Doors were forced open as the king's men searched every corner of Bethlehem with ruthless determination. Panic spread through the village. Every family feared that their own home would be next. But the child they sought was already gone. Hours earlier, Joseph had led Mary and the infant Jesus safely into the night. The soldiers had arrived too late. The one they had been sent to capture had already vanished beyond their reach. Unable to find the child, Herod's fury would soon give rise to one of the darkest chapters in Bethlehem's history. Yet even the power of a ruthless king could not overturn the plan that God had set in motion. As silence returned to Bethlehem, the Holy Family was already far beyond the village walls. Guided by the angel's warning, Joseph led Mary and the infant Jesus southward, beginning a long and uncertain journey toward Egypt. Every step carried them farther from Herod's reach, yet deeper into an unfamiliar land filled with uncertainty. Their path was difficult, but they pressed onward, trusting the God who had called them to protect his son. The road to Egypt stretched for many miles, through rocky hills, barren valleys, and lonely wilderness. The family continued their journey in faith. After days of travel, they finally reached the land of Egypt, where they would remain in safety until the danger had passed. Fulfilling the words spoken long before, Out of Egypt I called my son. Joseph knew he would have to begin again. His hands returned to the work they had always known. Mary watched over the child with quiet devotion. Around them, life in Egypt carried on as it always had. Each evening, he returned to the family God had entrusted to him. Even in exile, joy quietly filled their home. Days slowly turned into months. Still, Joseph never forgot the promise God had given him. The child grew safely beneath his parents' loving care. Hidden in a foreign land, the Savior of the world waited for the Father's perfect time. Back in Judea, the reign of Herod had ended. The king who sought the child's life was no more. Far away in Egypt, God spoke once again.
Rise, take the child and his mother, and return to the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead.
Joseph obeyed immediately. The years of refuge had come to an end. Once again, Joseph trusted the voice of God. The Savior was returning to the land of Israel, according to the Father's perfect plan.